What up, peeps? Welcome to a room tour. It's been quite some time since my last one, a little over a year, so I figured it's time for a new one, and I'm very excited because I have a lot of really cool items that were not in my last tour, things that I've gotten more recently, so I'm excited to share those with you guys. For those of you who follow my channel, I do daily vlogs showing my life as a retro video game store owner. I own a store called Double Jump Video Games here in Vancouver, Washington, in the United States. And owning the store has allowed me to add some really cool items to my collection that I probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Especially for the prices that I've been able to get stuff at. It's been very, very helpful. So if you're interested, you can subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in seeing daily vlogs of a game store owner's life, a lot of it is showing the stuff that people trade into the store. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely subscribe. While you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button. And yeah, I just wanted to mention a few things before we start. In addition to that, I've been collecting on and off since about 2008, and I've had my YouTube channel since about 2010. And if you're interested in going back and watching my previous room tour, which I uploaded, I believe, in either November or December of 2017, you can check that out. There will be a link in the description down below. I also have a playlist on my channel to go back and watch all of my room tours, which have spanned many different houses, different states even, and different collections entirely. So if you're interested, check it out. With all that said, let's jump into the room tour. So we're going to start by giving you guys an overview of the room, and then we'll look at some stuff in more detail. So this door right here leads into the other part of the house where the bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom, all that kind of stuff is. And then I'm just going to swing around here and show you guys the room. It looks very blue on camera. I'm not sure if that will change when I'm editing, but it does not look blue in person. But here is an overview shot. Kind of just go around the room slowly. It's blue because of this sign right here. Maybe we can turn that off here in a second. So this is the front part of the room. And then right here, there is a little doorway that leads into the back part of the room. So there's a lot of stuff back here as well. Give you an overview shot of this. And then we will probably turn that blue light off and take a closer look at the game room. There's a little closet here as well, and we'll take a look at that in closer detail once we get to it as well. Turning off that light made it much better. So we're going to start over here. To the left of this doorway here, we have the Game Boy Advance SP wall clock. It lights up with blue neon. It's just not plugged in at the moment. We have a little Zelda poster here, and then we have all these bookshelves right here. Now, I'm not going to go through every single item. I'm just kind of going to give you guys a little bit of an overview shot, kind of go shelf by shelf, maybe talk about a few things here and there. Like all this stuff aside from the Ghost, this is all Dreamcast stuff. It's a little dark, I know, but maybe I can do some editing and brighten it up. But I only collect complete in box, so that goes for controllers, that goes for systems, and that goes for games or any other accessories. So these two in particular do not have boxes. That is a custom painted Nintendo 64 with controller that a subscriber made for me a very, very long time ago. And some Guitar Hero stuff on the bottom. Moving over, got some figures, Monkey Ball and Street Fighter versus X-Men. And then this shelf here. This is just a lot of random Wii stuff, 3DS stuff. There's some Zelda statues, a bunch of Dance Dance Revolution, and then lots of strategy guides and books on the bottom. On the top of these shelves, I have more Skylander and Disney Infinity bundles for Wii, Wii U, and I have some 3DS ones, but I don't think they're up here. So moving down, this shelf is all Wii stuff, all boxed. A couple of these things are sealed. More Wii stuff right here, and then a couple Nintendo 64 items. Then moving down, this shelf is pretty cool. This is all original Xbox stuff, and it's all factory sealed. So we have the headsets, the cables, the Crystal controller, which I believe is a Canadian exclusive for North America. Standard Duke controller. There's a 12-month Xbox Live subscription pass. The DVD movie playback kit. memory card, action replay, another playback kit, but this is different packaging. Moving down, some more Dance Dance Revolution boxes, and then the start of the Nintendo Power Collection. And it's almost a complete set. Most of the ones I'm missing are GameCube and later. And then some other books and stuff there, and those two binders have like Animal Crossing amiibo cards and some Mega Man trading cards and stuff. Up top is just some more random stuff. This mug is pretty cool. Got this from an ex-Nintendo employee. It is an Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons promotional cup, and it's color changing if you put warm liquid in it. All the black turns into like a nice little forest scene. It's pretty cool. A couple more sealed Xbox items. Halo 2 Plantronics headset and the Xbox music mixer game and microphone. Down here, these are all soundtracks and a couple demo discs, but mostly soundtracks. And then some more Dance Dance Revolution, the Mario cereal, and then the rest of the Nintendo Power. So, on the end of the shelf here, we have some figures and plushes, and then some other factory sealed figures on the end here. Some Pokemon ones, and then the Double Dragon at the top. So swinging around, that blanket there covers the laundry room. No need to show that. On top of these two, on top of this custom shelf that I made here, we have some random stuff. Mario Kart RC car things. And then this shelf I custom built, and it houses my entire Super Nintendo collection, Sega Saturn, and Sega Cd. On the edge we have some random like promotional type stuff here. Nothing too crazy. And then let's go through these Super Nintendo games. So if you'd like to see a more in-depth video on the Super Nintendo collection, just let me know. That goes for any system, not just Super Nintendo, because I'm not going to be going through every single game in the room tour, of course. It would take a week to go through every game. But if you would like to see anything more in-depth, just let me know, and I can work on that. So, games you see like this, they are not factory sealed. Maybe one or two are, but for the majority of them, they just have the plastic on them, but they're still cut open at the end. And I have all of them in these plastic protectors, as you can see. So, last time I posted a room tour, a lot of people thought that all my games were sealed, and that is definitely not the case. I do collect sealed games, not against that. I just am not going to go out of my way to get sealed copies when complete copies, to me, are just as good. And they're, of course, way cheaper. But I do love finding games with the plastic on them, like this Krusty Super Funhouse here. Once again, not factory sealed, just cut open at the end. But whenever I go to a convention or a game store or, wherever I am, I always try to find whatever games have the plastic on them, because that's, as long as the boxes aren't crushed, that is as close to, like, mint condition as you're probably going to get with some of these older boxes. But I love collecting complete in box stuff. When I first started collecting, I was doing cartridge only, and I decided, once I sold a portion of my collection to buy a computer, and when I started to collect again, at that point I decided I was only going to collect complete in box, and that was the only stuff that I had kept from the collection when I sold it, was all the complete in box stuff. So I really like looking at the artwork. So this one, for example, is factory sealed. I have a complete copy with the plastic on it, and then also a sealed copy. So if you see any doubles like that, the second one is either going to be a variant or it's going to be sealed. That goes for every system. But yeah, I just love collecting complete in box. I think that the boxes just look so nice. I think this looks a lot nicer on my shelf than a bunch of loose cartridges. And that's obviously nothing against anyone who collects loose. Obviously, it's way more cost effective to do so, and it's easier to find stuff. But I have no trouble, or I have no problem with waiting to find things. I'm not really ever looking for a specific title. A couple Super Famicom games there. And then moving down, we have the Sega CD. Now, I don't really ever seek out Sega CD, Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, but I do own my video game store, empty shelf there. I do own the video game store, which helps me to add some of these titles to my collection, which is very, very cool. And we have Saturn on the bottom here. Because like I said, I don't really ever seek this stuff out. If I find a good deal, of course, I'm going to buy it, but a lot of these games have been traded into the game store, and of course, being the owner, I have first dibs on whatever I want, which is super cool, and it's allowed me to add some pretty cool Sega games to my collection. I never really grew up having a Sega system myself, but my neighbor had a Genesis, and one of my other friends had a Dreamcast, so I did play when I was younger, and I do enjoy it, so it's cool to get that stuff now. So moving over here, we have the PlayStation 2 light-up cabinet, the PlayStation 1 Kiosk, and the Wii U Kiosk. The Wii U Kiosk is supposed to be on. I think it just shut down after not being touched for a little bit there. And I have a lot more signs, I have more kiosks, I have arcade machines, pinball machines, but a lot of that stuff is at the store. So there is a store tour on my channel if you guys would like to check that out, but there's just not enough room in here for everything that I have, so unfortunately there's a lot of stuff there, including my Blockbuster sign. I have another PlayStation 2 sign, a PS1 neon sign, there's an Xbox sign, there's a bunch of stuff. So let's take a look at the cabinet here. We got some stuff on the top, and I picked this cabinet up in Albany, Oregon. Super awesome. Got some factory sealed accessories on the top, and then some of my more expensive PS2 games here. Just like some harder to find stuff, some like big box stuff. And then at the bottom here, I have Taiko Drum Master. The TAC Bobblehead is a pre-order bonus for the PS2 game. We have the Dot Hack GU Rebirth Volume 1 Special Edition with the figure. And then on the very bottom, we have the Devil Summoner 2 Special Edition sealed. And then we have the white PS2 Slim SingStar bundle, and then a black PS2 Slim Model 2, I believe. We have in front of the PlayStation 1 kiosk, this perfect little spot, we have the big Master Chief figure from Toys R Us. And then we have the PS1 kiosk, which I got off of Craigslist. Super awesome. It's missing the controller arms, but the controller fits inside here, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus, if there were controller arms sticking out here, there wouldn't be much room to walk through, so this is fine. We have Tony Hawk in there playing. And then on the top of the kiosk, I have a couple countertop standees. We have the Turok Evolution and the Ready to Rumble Boxing, which this one, if you push the button...
Come on, go get some. Let's rumble home on the check.
So it goes through, cycles through a few phrases there, which is pretty cool. On the wall, there's just some random stuff, little framed Pokemon pictures, some little Big Planet figures, Donkey Kong cars. And then down here, this is the Shaq Fu Special Edition for the Switch, and it comes with a soundtrack and a hat and all sorts of stuff. It was limited to like 500 copies, which is pretty crazy. And then we have the Wii U Kiosk, got Mario Kart in there. Up on top, I have a Link Between Worlds countertop standee, a couple figures, a couple other things up here, Lakitu hanging from the ceiling. And I do not have the demo console or gamepad for it, so I just have a standard black one in there. But there's that. On the wall, I have some GameCube party lights. And then down here, I have this little Sterilite container. It includes GameCube and Nintendo 64 memory cards in the top. The middle one are PlayStation 1 in the back, and then a little row of PS2 in the front. And then the bottom is all PS2. And I have so many because my goal is to go for a complete set for pretty much every system I'm collecting for. So if I have 1,800 PS2 games, it's going to be really hard to find the memory card that has the game I want to play on it. So my goal is to have one memory card per game, and that goes pretty much for every system. On the end of the shelf here, and I custom built this shelf by the way, but I have this Sega Genesis holder, which has some of my more expensive Genesis games in it, which is pretty cool. I have another one of these little holders on the other side, but it's Game Gear. So this shelf, which is on both sides of the TV and above the TV, I custom designed and built this shelf myself with the help of my dad. It is very, very awesome, holds a lot of games, and fits the wall perfectly. Up on top, I have a bunch of World of Nintendo figures. These are the 2.5-inch figures that come from Walmart. And I used to collect a lot of these, but I haven't bought one in a couple years. It just got too expensive. And then over here we have a bunch of Harry Potter pop figures. These are my girlfriend's. And then we have some of the original like 1998 Pokemon beanbag plushes. I was moving stuff around before this video and didn't have anything to put here because I used to have some VHS there, which I moved, so I put these there. And then up top I have some big boxed GameCube games, and these are above the GameCube collection. So we're gonna go back over here and take a look at the Nintendo 64 collection, which is my favorite system. I'm very close to a complete set here. At the time of filming this video, I'm 37 games away from the complete US set. I do have some variants, I do have some not for resales, and I do have like a few sealed games as well. But I'm very close to the complete set, and this is the system that I'm actively trying to complete at the moment. I'm closer with one other system, but this is my favorite, so this is the one I'd like to complete. I used to have a complete set, but that was before I sold my collection in 2014. So, starting off, we have a complete in-box Sculptor's Cut. The reason this is out from the rest of the collection is because I have it in this really nice acrylic case. It's not sealed or anything, it's just a complete copy, but I have it in this case just to give it some extra protection. And of course, things are falling, so we'll set him down there for right now. So we'll go through the collection here. So when you see a double like this, if one of them's not sealed, the second GoldenEye here is the Player's Choice version. So I am going for the Player's Choice set as well. So let's go through here. A couple of the games are sealed, but not that many. And like I said, I'm pretty close to the complete set. Most of the games I'm missing are not that hard to find. Like, I have most of the big ones. You saw the Sculptor's Cut. Here's Bomberman Second Attack. I have Chameleon Twist 2, just missing a manual. At least at the time of filming. Hopefully I'll get one pretty soon. I love the N64. It's the system that I grew up playing the most. Came out when I was 6 years old, maybe 6 years old. And we had the PS1 first, but when we got the N64, that's the system that I really fell in love with. These are all alphabetized, and I just rearranged the game room a few days ago to show the green sides of them. I actually had them stacked up differently, showing the yellow sides, because if you stack them like that, it gives you more room, but I got a couple new shelves and rearranged in order to make room to display them like this, which is the preferred way to display them in my opinion. I think the green sides look the best. And like I said, I did have a complete set before, at least every cartridge and box. I was missing some manuals, but I sold everything in 2014 and started my collection over. So I've been pretty happy with what I've been able to acquire since then, and like I said, having the store has helped a tremendous amount. A couple figures on the ends here. And then right here, two more heavy hitters. We have Stunt Racer and Super Bowling. Both are complete. I am missing some manuals for some of the boxes, but the most expensive manuals I need are probably going to be Chameleon Twist 2 and Carmageddon 64. And then right here, we have the Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which was the GameCube title, but someone put it on an N64 cartridge, which is pretty cool. Then we have the gray cartridge variant for Scooby-Doo, and then an Animal Crossing English repro from the Animal Forest game, which came out in Japan, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then finishing off with the last row down here, we have Worms Armageddon, another heavy hitter. And then towards the end there, I have the 40 Winks Collector's Edition and Standard, and then F1 Racing is a PAL exclusive. Then right above there, I have my not for resales. Super Mario not for resale, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon Stadium, and the last not for resale cartridge that I have is Pokemon Snap, but it is in my Pokemon Snap station, which is at the store. So down here I have a Ninja Turtles trash can, right next to the entertainment center here. I've got the N64 turned on, Majora's Mask is in there. So this is where we do a portion of our gaming. We also have a TV hooked up in the bedroom, and that's where we have the Switch. There's also a Wii U in there. So consoles, we have the Wii U sitting on top of the Retron 5 right now, and the gamepad is there. I'm sorry about the dark, but we have lights in here, but the batteries burn out way too quickly. There's a PS2 Slim, Xbox One with the Kinect. We have a little stereo system down here. We have the Nintendo 64, a Spice Orange Japanese GameCube that is region modded to play North American and Japanese games, and then we have a Samsung combo VHS or VCR and DVD player. This is a Sharp 4K TV. As you can see, the N64 works on it. It's a little grainy, but it's not too bad. And there's a couple speakers behind, some plushes and stuff. And then on this top shelf here, we have the Super Mario Bros. Dixie cups. That is a sealed box of them. This baseball is very cool. I got this kind of recently. It's a Ken Griffey Jr. winning run autographed ball from the Nintendo Power Contest. Very, very cool. And then one of my prized possessions, my Nintendo 64 neon sign. I got this from the ex-Nintendo employee. Super, super cool. It's mint condition. I love this thing. And then next to that, I have these two little coin banks. This Luigi one here, I actually had when I was a little kid. And when I sold my collection in 2014, my friend wanted to buy that from me. And when I started collecting again, he gave it back to me, which is super cool. That's the only thing I have from my childhood, as far as video games go. This here is a set of 4 Game Boy Advance launch glasses. It's probably going to be kind of hard to see, but this came from the Nintendo employee as well. If you'd like to see pictures of some of this stuff, I do have an Instagram, which is in the description below. I posted a picture of those a while ago, so you can check that out. Got some more plushes. In front of the TV, I have the Nintendo toy chest, which has a bunch of toys in it. And then just a few things. This little Super Mario bowl on top. This custom painted table that my girlfriend got me. And then underneath there, we have a little basket with all the controllers and stuff. In front of it is the couch, of course. And then right here, we have the Master Chief life-size statue. I wasn't going to leave him in here for the video because he takes up a lot of room, but this is really the only place I could even fit him. Normally the couch is moved over and in line with the TV, but we had to make room for Master Chief here, unless I wanted him to go in the garage, which wouldn't be ideal, so he's right here for now. And then continuing on to the other half of the shelf here, we have the Gamecube Collection and NES. And then I guess we'll show those and then we'll continue around the room. So Gamecube is another system that I really, really enjoy, and I am going for complete sets for every system that I collect for. However, Gamecube is probably going to be my next focus once the N64 collection is complete. I think I'm a little over halfway with the set. It's been a while since I've done like a comparison versus like my count versus the full list. I don't know exactly how many games there are. I think there's somewhere around 650, but I'm very happy with what I have so far. And on the end, you can see I've got some of these Mega Man bobbleheads. There's 4 of them in existence. Well, there's 4 different versions, I should say, and I have 3 of the 4. There's more than 4 of them in existence, just 4 different kinds. And I do have a lot of the hard-to-find GameCube titles as well. There's a couple that I'm still missing. I need Rally Challenge, and I need the Disney Sports Basketball, a few of the ones like that. Pokemon Box I still need, but I want to get it in the big box, so it's a little hard to find. Missing the other Pure Evil 2-pack. I'm missing the Resident Evil 4 GameStop Premium Edition, but I do have Fire Emblem, I do have Gotcha Force, and every single GameCube game in my collection is complete. Got the Monkey Ball 2-pack there, which is pretty hard to find. I used to have the Sonic Adventure 2-pack when I sold everything, but haven't been able to find one since. And I've only seen 1 or 2 pictures of the Sonic and Monkey Ball 2-pack. That one's incredibly difficult to find. And then the last shelf up here is going to be the end of the GameCube games. And then there's like a few preview discs and some ultimate codes and stuff like that. And then we move on to the NES collection, which has been growing pretty rapidly with the help of the video game store. Usually people don't trade in 1 or 2 boxed games. It seems like if they come in at all, it comes in a stack of 10 to 20. So I've been able to add some pretty good ones to the collection. So the top row here is going to be the cream of the crop, basically. It's a little dark, but I have Contra Force complete, Donkey Kong Jr. complete, and then probably the crown jewel of my collection, the complete in-box Little Samson. This is also in one of those acrylic cases. I got this one fairly recently, in January of 2019, so super awesome. You guys can go back on the channel if you're interested and see the video where I picked that up. Also, the stack up, which is missing a couple pieces, but most of the pieces are there. The game is in there. I found that at a garage sale, if you could believe that. I got it for like 20 bucks. And then I have A Boy and His Blob, signed by David Crane. I have a copy of Astyanax, which has an autograph, but I'm not sure who it is. So, I believe it's Bob something. If you guys can let me know if you recognize that. It also says 1 of 1 down in the corner, which leads me to believe that it is some sort of legit autograph and not just somebody writing their name on their own copy of the game. And then the 8-Bit Xmas 2008. So those are cartridge only, but I don't really count those. So here we go with the boxed games. Once again, none of these are factory sealed. They are all in, well, most of them are in plastic protectors, and some of them, like this, have the plastic on the box, but as you can see, it's cut open at the top. So I love finding games like that, like I mentioned. I have some decent NES games, but I don't, aside from the Little Samson, the Contra Force, and the Donkey Kong Jr., I don't have anything that's super, super crazy. I don't have Flintstones or, Nintendo World Championships. This is the Holy Diver Collector's Edition, which is not an original released game, but still pretty cool. Moving down here, I have most of like the really, really popular stuff. Like, I have most of the Marios, most of the, I have the Zelda games, I have Kid Icarus, stuff like that. But there's always more to get, and that's what I love about collecting complete in box, is that even after I've gotten the complete set, in 20 years maybe, there will still always be condition upgrades to go after and stuff like that. So I think collecting complete in box is a lot of fun, and like I said, there's always something to collect. So moving on up here, I have the other Sega Display. So this one you can see says Game Gear on the side. The other one says Genesis on the side there. So Lion King is sealed. The rest of these are just complete. Nothing super special for the Game Gear. I just never add games to my collection. Aside from the ones in this, I have 2 more, which you'll see later. Some sealed Wii and DS accessories on the wall there. And then I have these, like, there's 2 of them here, but these are like the Super Mario and Mario Kart, like, display things from McDonald's. And then a Pikmin poster behind there. This is a closet, which we're not going to look at because it's messy, but I got a couple posters on there. And then I have this little shelf in between the 2 doors. This door leads to the upstairs. But this is my Wii U collection, which is the system that I'm closest to completing. I don't know exactly how many games I'm missing, but I'm pretty sure it's under 10, or at least under 15, if you don't count variants. I'm going for the variants, but I'd be happy with just the complete set first, and then track down the variants later. But most of the big box ones are at the bottom there, so we'll go through these as well. Any of the ones that are in a little bag like this are factory sealed, and so I do have a lot of doubles because I will have an opened copy and a sealed copy. And I actually considered going for a factory sealed set because honestly it's not that hard as long as you have the money or at least the patience to do it. None of the games are incredibly difficult to find if you don't count the variants. There are some variants that are really hard to find, but like this one, for example, not the easiest thing to find, but there is a Lego Jurassic World with a minifig that is incredibly hard to find. But I have considered going for a sealed set only because I probably have a quarter of it done already, like not even on purpose. Just getting them, you know, the cheapest way to get some of these games for a long time was sealed. So that's what ended up happening. So like one of these is open, one of them is sealed, one of these is open, one of them is sealed. And then getting down to the end here, and then into the big box stuff. Some of these can be a little harder to find. Like the Nintendo Land here with the Luigi remote's kind of hard to find. And then the very bottom shelf here. And these are the Yoshi's Woolly World different amiibo bundle. So that one's pink, that one's green, I'm just missing the blue one. If you guys have anything that I'm missing that you're interested in getting rid of, maybe possibly trading or selling, just let me know. Because I do have some extra stuff to trade. I've got an extra Yoshi's Woolly World with the pink amiibo. I've got an extra Wii Party U sealed. So let me know if you want to do some trading. I have this Pokemon mat here in front of the door, which is pretty cool. I found that at the Goodwill outlet. And then I have all these shelves here. So we'll look at all these before we get into the back room. So up top, I have a bunch of VHS. These are all like video game promotional type tapes here, which are pretty cool. Some of them are sealed. And then I have the fishing resort for the Wii, which is pretty hard to find. This one comes in the big box, and the game inside is still factory sealed. Found that at a local thrift store for 15 bucks. Then I have the Miracle Piano. This is the Super Nintendo version. Pretty cool. That one is complete. Found that at Goodwill for 15 bucks, I think. Maybe it's 15 or 30. Then on the first shelf here, I have my big box Super Nintendo games. These are all complete. We have the Super Bomberman Party Pack. Underneath that is Mario Paint. And then, of course, Earthbound. Moving down, we have the Zelda Breath of the Wild Special Edition and Masters Edition. And then the Xenoblade Chronicles Special Edition for the Switch. And a couple Bowser figures, which are pretty cool. This one is super old, and this one is probably a bootleg I got from an anime store in Montreal, Canada. Below that are going to be my NES System Bundles and a couple accessories. So we have the Challenge Set, regular control deck, we have the top loader, we have the NES Classic right there, NES Classic controller, and a 4-score, which is factory sealed. Then we have both action sets with the gray and orange zapper guns, the power set, and then the NES Deluxe set, which is not fully complete. I just got the Rob the Robot and most of his pieces to go in there, and of course I can get a system and the games anywhere, but that one's not fully complete yet. And then we have a gray zapper in the box and an NES Satellite. Then I have this middle shelf here, which is kind of precariously placed in here, and you can kind of see it kind of moves back and forth a little bit, but this has my 3DS collection on it. So let's take a look at that. There's really nothing super special with the 3DS. I'm not much of a handheld gamer. My girlfriend is, so if these games ever get played, it's usually by her. And again, if you see any in the bags like this, those are factory sealed. Sorry about the glare and stuff. It's kind of difficult in this room. I tried to get most of the Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon different like editions, so that's why there's so many of them here. Moving down, I don't really add 3DS games to my collection too often either. Couple big box ones here with Amiibo, and then 3 DSi exclusive games. 2 of these are PAL exclusive as well. And the face training is sealed. I don't know exactly how many DSi exclusives there are. I know that there's 3 of them in North America, 2 of which are a little hard to find. But as far as like PAL exclusives and stuff, I'm not sure how many there are, but there's 3 of them. And then I have these Game Boy little like disc holder things. Then moving up along the top of these shelves, this is Rock Band Special Edition for the Wii with the drums and all that. Then I have my Nintendo 64 controllers. I have a full set of North American boxed controllers, which are the standard colors there. One of the Atomic Purples is a not-for-resale version. And then we have some Japanese ones here, blue and yellow on the top, and then both boxed versions of the gold controller. And then we have the Hello Mac controller complete in box, which is really, really hard to find. And then the Diehawks one as well. The Hello Mac here with the blue writing, I believe there's something like 6 or 7 of them complete in box, like known to exist, which is super cool. And then an opened Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles X Special Edition up top. On this shelf here, we have Nintendo 64 systems and Super Nintendo systems. So, first up, we have the 3 fantastic ones that I have in my collection so far. Japanese Mario Kart 64 with the controller. This is a refurbished product N64 here. It's a standard color, comes with an atomic purple and a gray controller. And I believe this came from Fry's Electronics originally. I got this from my friend Andrew who used to work there. And the system inside is like pretty much brand new, which is really, really awesome. Then going down to this shelf here, we have the bundle with the gray controller and the atomic purple, then a standard one. Then we have the clear blue and white Japanese version, a standard Japanese N64, and then an Arcade Shark, which is an arcade stick, but Nintendo never released an official one for N64, so I decided to hold on to that when it came into the store, complete in box. And then just some other random stuff here. Weird Mario bobblehead, which I can't find anywhere. And then Ocarina of Time figures. And then we have those ones as well. And then a Metroid Prime bobblehead. Then moving down, we have some Super Nintendo accessories in box. The box for the Superboy in the back there. The Super Nintendo Classic. A boxed Super Famicom. And then all the different Super Nintendo bundles that I have. So, first one here is Mario Kart, Mario All-Stars, Star Fox, a Super Mario World Superset bundle, and then this one here is the same as this, it just is some kind of box variant. And then we have the Donkey Kong set, a couple energy drinks, and then the control sets here, we have the standard one, Killer Instinct, and Link to the Past, which are pretty cool. We have a box for Rob, which this box is horribly damaged, so it's just kind of there for display. And then we have a box for a Game Gear system, and then a couple big box things here, Star Fox statue, Tony Hawk, Shred, Mega Yarn Yoshi. And then this next shelf has the rest of my PlayStation systems. You saw some in the glass case, but here we have some more. 2 PS2s there, and then 3 PS1s, then a little Hey Pikmin display box. This shelf here has most of my big boxed 3DS, like collector's editions and stuff. We have a few random things in front, a couple shot glasses, Donkey Kong, bobblehead, the Nintendo Power, Mario tennis balls, and then just some special editions here. Some of them are sealed, some of them are not. And then some big box, like really big box ones underneath there. For the Fire Emblem Echoes, one is sealed, one is opened. Then on the top shelf, we have my factory sealed Nintendo 64 controllers. These are the fantastic ones that came out in North America. They never came in cardboard boxes, they only came like this. So if you want to get them with their packaging, you pretty much have to get them sealed. And so I have the watermelon one here, which I think there's like 4 or 5 known to exist. Then Smoke, Ice Blue, Grape, and Jungle Green. So moving up here, we have the PlayStation 2 neon sign, which was creating all that blue glow in the room. A couple Nintendo Labo sets, which I got in a collection I bought a long time ago, right before we opened the store. And then on this shelf here, this is more N64 stuff. We have the Pikachu set. It's only missing the watch, which is that right there. If you have one, let me know. We have the N64 carrying travel case bag thing and its original box. Up here is a Nintendo 64 controller sleeve, kind of hiding back there. Then we have the Donkey Kong 64 Nintendo Power exclusive controller. Then we have 2 custom painted controllers. First one here is just a standard green controller that Abby got me for Christmas or a birthday. And then I have the Banjo-Kazooie custom painted controller done by Zoki64. He has a nice video on his channel showing the detail of this thing if you'd like to check it out. Then moving down to this shelf, I have most of the boxed handheld systems aside from the DS and 3DS. So there's 2 Game Boys, 3 Game Boy Pockets, 5 Game Boy Colors, including 1 Japanese exclusive, 2 regular advances, 2 SPs, the Micro is up there, and then I have 1 Game & Watch in the box, Mario Cement Factory. Then the Star Fox Game & Watch, custom Kirby controller, Nintendo 64 watch, a couple Donkey Kong things. Moving down, this is a GameCube Shelf, and these are mostly factory sealed accessories. We have the RF switch, a black controller, all 3 versions of the memory card, the Game Boy Advance to GameCube link cable. We have the Zelda, or Legend of Zelda Wind Waker bobblehead, the Star Fox bobblehead, which is opened but has the original packaging. And then the very bottom here we have GameCube Systems, the the Star Fox Survival Kit, and a GameCube Mario bobblehead, and then the boxes for all of the GameCube systems that we have. So there's a couple posters here, and then we have this shelf. On top we have the Final Fantasy XI with the hard drive for PS2 and the Atari 5200 complete in box. And then this shelf used to have all the Game Boy stuff on it, but I recently rearranged. So we have some figures and stuff, mostly. Well, there's this one figure here, and then a bunch of amiibo, and then these Pokemon dog tags. There's a bunch of different ones. I'm not going to go over all the amiibo, but I have a complete set of amiibo up until they did the exclusive Link amiibo. I have the Majora's Mask one, which is right there from Best Buy, but I'm missing Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and after that I stopped buying them. So I don't have the Dark Souls one, I don't have Detective Pikachu, and I don't have the new waves of Smash Brothers ones that have come out. And then on the bottom, we just have some Pokemon figures over there, some big box stuff, and then a couple Nintendo 64 cartridge holders. And then we're making our way into the back room here. So we're going to start off by I guess we'll show what's above the door. We have some Mario figures, a super old Mario Halloween mask. This is from like 1989 or something. Then we have a couple Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time era figures. And then we come to our first shelf here. So first up we have the Cdi Games. The coolest one, of course, being the Hotel Mario, which was traded into the store. We have a Yokai Watch countertop standee, and my not-for-resale Game Boy cartridges, and 1 3DS. And then I have a couple of these little, like, Nintendo keychain games. Then we have 2 DS Lite systems, 2 DSIs, and then a bunch of 3DSs. Some of them are XL, some of them are new 3DSs. And then we have 2 DSs right here. The first one here is a refurbished product which came directly from Nintendo's website. And then we have 1 more 3DS right there. And then this little shelf is kind of weird, and this shelf will always change. These are the factory sealed games that I have that I'm wanting to get graded. I don't have very many graded games. I've only sent in 1 batch, but my friend is the founder of Wada Games, and I did my first batch to VGA before he opened his company, so I'm going to be sending everything to him from now on. But there's a few N64 ones here, most of which were gifts from my girlfriend for Christmas. The Mia Hamm Soccer I got from PRGE, but these 3 she's given me as Christmas gifts. And then a couple GameCube games here, a couple Zeldas and Bat and Kados, and then some NES games here. And I'm not really trying to get a lot of like newer games graded. Even the GameCube ones I was kind of iffy on, but this is Cave Story 3D with the lenticular cover, which is pretty hard to find, and it's still sealed, so I figured I would just do that one. And then I have a factory sealed case of Donkey Kong Land 3 for the original Game Boy. There's 6 factory sealed copies in there, and it's never been opened, so I figured I would send that in, get all 6 graded, keep 1 for myself, probably sell 1 or 2 of them in the store, and then maybe just hold on to a couple other ones to trade down the road. And then we have 2 different PSP boxes, and a Vita box, and some other random stuff. So the big shelf next to that is one of my newest shelves. I got 2 of these. So up top we have some more amiibo, my 1 Virtual Boy game, and then the very top here And then the first little shelf are going to be my original Game Boy games. So we'll go through those. It's a little tight to get in here to try and film, so I do apologize. So there's those, and then the last little batch right here. And then we go on to Game Boy Color. Once again, sorry about the glare. I don't have too many original Game Boy or Game Boy Color games. This one is Survival Kids, a little difficult to find. But I have quite a bit of Game Boy Advance. So now we're moving on to Game Boy Advance. First one here is just like a bootleg multi-cart. And then these are in like true alphabetical order, meaning that if a game starts with the, it's in the T's. Because if I put my list together and then I run it through an online alphabetizing like algorithm thing, that's how it spits it out. And it just makes it the easiest so that I'm not trying to remember which words I'm excluding, like A or the, or like the adventures of. I just have them start with T. There's some figures right here, so it's a little hard to get back there. But I don't really ever seek out Game Boy games in the boxes either, aside from the Pokemon ones, but I seem to find them pretty often. And I have a lot of them that are like decent titles, but I also have a bunch of just filler stuff that, you know, if I find it for a couple bucks, I'll pick it up because it's not really ever going to be cheaper than that. So we're coming to the end of them here. And then we have a few Game Boy Advance videos, and then some Japanese exclusives. And then just a couple like little standy things. Now, Dreamcast is next, but I have this Nintendo Director's Chair that's kind of in the way, so I'm going to pull this out, move that to the side. There's a good shot of it. It's pretty freaking cool. And then go through the Dreamcast here. I don't really seek out Dreamcast either, so my collection isn't very big. I would like to focus on Dreamcast, and I was thinking about doing it after N64, but a lot of the games I would have to find either at a convention or probably on eBay, and I don't really like doing that too much, so I decided to go with GameCube. And then I have a few Vita games here, which I never add Vita games to the collection. I was thinking about actually getting rid of them. And then PSP, I also don't really add too much to this collection. Like I said, I'm not really into handheld games. If I do play them, it's going to be on like the Super Game Boy or something on the TV. I know it's kind of dark down here. I do apologize. I'll try to do some editing to brighten it up a little bit. And then we have some N64 accessories in the boxes here. And then I'll try to put the Nintendo chair back here. Not the easiest thing to do with one hand. All right. Above the chair, I have a bunch of video game related figures. So we have two Soul Calibur 2 ones, we have Tomb Raider, Turok, Darkstalkers 3, Resident Evil, another Tomb Raider, another Darkstalkers 3, Duke Nukem, Soul Calibur, Quake 2, and Koopa from the Mario Bros. Movie. Then a bunch of Amiibo on top of the Atari 2600. And below that is my Nintendo 64 box sign. This thing is really cool. It's about 2 feet by 2 feet or so, maybe a little bit bigger. And that is all sitting on my Nintendo glass case. This is an official Nintendo branded glass case. And on top we have the Super Mario Kart, or Mario Kart 64 telephone, couple coin bank things, and then this little display stand with a bunch of like little pamphlets and stuff on all sorts of things. Couple Pokemon marble things there. And then I have this little, I don't even know what this is, but it's got all my pins on it. A lot of Pokemon pins, but there are some older ones as well. This one is an older one here. We have the rubber Majora's Mask pin right there. So there's some cool ones in there. And then a glass Arch Rivals marquee from the arcade on top. And then some like Zelda card pack things. A couple Street Fighter G.I. Joe toys in the boxes, some other random stuff, little Sonic Bank, Pikachu plush, some Final Fantasy figures up here, and then some Mega Man figures up top. And then those are all sitting on my Game Crazy sign, which is kind of blocked. There's Peter Griffin, Link, and Mario in front of it. But this is the sign that was actually on the outside of the building. I got this off of Craigslist from a guy up in Seattle. And we're going to come back and look at the stuff inside of the glass case here. So on the top shelf are my graded games. Like I said, I don't have too many, but I sent all these in myself. So we have Exertainment Mountain Bike Rally, which is an 85+. These are all sealed, of course. NFL Blitz Special Edition, Majora's Mask, Final Fantasy Legend 3 for the Game Boy. My one sealed PS1 game that's graded is Nectaris Military Madness. And then, kind of hard to see because of the glare, but there's a Star Tropics in there. And then on the very bottom, we have the sealed expansion pack and transfer pack for N64. Then in the back is the Virtual Boy, complete in box Atari Jaguar, and a factory sealed PlayStation 2. And then I have both sizes of the Power Glove. That's the large, and that's the medium. This box is in really bad shape, but I found it at the Goodwill outlet, so I really can't complain. I paid probably $2 for this from Goodwill. Super awesome. And then on the little wall here, there's some more Amiibo and some other figures and stuff. Nothing super exciting there. And then I have this Amiibo stand, which I got from the GameStop dumpster, which is super cool. These little signs on the top here I got from a different GameStop because they had doubles, and I was like, hey, can I have these? And they said sure, so I was able to use those to complete this, which is super cool. I bought the pegs, these little things off of eBay, and I put a bunch of Amiibo on there. So once again, not going to go through all these, not super exciting, but there's some on the front there as well. And then on this side, on the top, I just have the Guardian Amiibo, and then I keep my thumbtacks down there. On the little wall here, we have a sealed Tiger Handheld Gargoyles Night Flight, a PS1 controller, which isn't sealed, but it is with the original packaging, and then a Zelda watch. Then on the other side, we have some older Pokemon figures. And then I have the Super Mario Bros. 2 Wilton Cake Pan, and also the Pikachu Cake Pan, then a couple K'NEX figures down there. Those things are super cool. So, next up here is another shelf that I custom built and painted and everything. And I've built this shelf many, many times. I had this same shelf design in Florida that I built, which I took down and put back up twice while I lived there. One in a different room and then one in a different apartment. And then I built this while we were living up in Kelso, Washington, for the game room up there. Tore it down, brought everything down here back to Vancouver when we moved back down here, and then put it together in this game room, and it's been here ever since. So, it holds a ton of games, as you can see. So first we're going to show what's on top. We have more Amiibo. I just kind of had to stick them wherever they would fit, because I was going to box them up and put them in the closet, but I was able to make them fit. And then more Guitar Hero bundles for the PS2. So on the shelf, first is PlayStation 2. So we'll go through those. And like I said before, if you guys do want to see like an in-depth collection video on anything, including PS2, you guys can let me know in the comments, and I'll try to do that. I am going for complete sets for every system that I collect for. I think I've already mentioned that, but I think I need to reiterate because there are 1,800 North American PS2 games, roughly, and I have about 650 so far, so I'm a third of the way done. I have a lot of the hard-to-find ones. Of course, there's always more to get, but I do have a lot of the hard-to-find ones, a lot of the RPGs and stuff like that. There are a few limited editions that are really hard to find, like the Bully, comes with a dodgeball, stuff like that. But I haven't really added that many PS2 games to my collection recently, just a lot of, like, the ones I have added have been, like, higher-end ones that come into the store. I need all the filler titles, of course, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get those. They come into the store all the time, but I'd rather the store just keep them so that we have them to sell. But once I start focusing on PlayStation 2, then it'll probably be pretty quick to add games to the collection because there's a lot of $2 games that I don't have. Of course, it's kind of like that with most systems, but I'm not really focusing on PS2. I just kind of get some hard-to-find stuff as I can, and just filler titles, you know. I used to add them to my collection a lot before the store opened, but now that I have the store, I just kind of sell all that stuff. So PS2 goes to there for the first little section, and then it continues up here. So we have 2 more shelves. Once again, I'm sorry about the glare. And you guys can pause if you need to read any titles or anything. I apologize if I'm moving a little fast, but I don't want this video to be 5 hours long, of course. So this shelf is the last of the PlayStation 2 here. And then we get into some couple Indian exclusive games and then Japanese exclusives right there. And then we move on to the Wii games. They take up that and then 2.5 shelves of the next section. So we'll go through those as well. There's a couple people who have complete Wii collections that I've seen, and some of the games are incredibly hard to find. Some of them are really, really expensive. So I have some of like the mid-tier games, like some of the ones that are a little more common that people know about, like Dokapon Kingdom. It's kind of expensive and everyone knows that, but there are some games that are pretty hard to find that nobody really knows about, and they're just like filler titles. So a lot of those I don't have, but I have like most of the good stuff that people actually want, of course. I'll just get the filler titles, you know, as they come, and then track down those rare and hard to find games once I'm actually focusing on the Wii collection. But collections like PS2 and Wii, like focusing on them is going to come much, much later. That's going to come after I finish the N64, after I finish the GameCube, after I finish the Wii U, and probably Super Nintendo, and Game Boy, and Virtual Boy even. And probably, honestly, even after the original Xbox set, because I think I'm about halfway done with that. And that'll be a lot easier than PS2, for example. So we're coming to the end of the Wii games here. We got another shelf and a half. And some of these I have so many copies of, like Wii Sports Resort. So there's a couple down in here. So we have the Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports Double Pack. Then we have a regular Wii Sports Resort. Then we have a sealed Wii Sports Resort. Then we have a big box Wii Sports Resort. Then a sealed one. And then a sealed variant. It's the refurbished product one. Then we have the big box opened and the big box sealed. So I have a lot of copies of Wii Sports Resort. And then finishing off the Wii games right there. And then I have the Netflix disc and then a couple Japanese exclusives. Then we move into original Xbox, which is a system that I would like to complete. And like I said, I think I'm about halfway there. I have most of the hard-to-find games out of the way. One main one that I've been looking for a while is Futurama. It's not crazy expensive, and it's not super hard to find, but every time that I have seen it, it's been like at a game store, and they want more than what I'm willing to pay. Maybe not more than what it's worth, but I try to find good deals if I can. I try not to pay retail for anything if I can avoid it, of course. I think everyone's that way. But most of the stuff that I have has come from Craigslist deals, from a lot of like Goodwill, honestly. People trading stuff into the store, of course, but that didn't happen until more recently. We've only been open, at the time of filming this video, we've only been open about 7 or 8 months. So it's helped, of course, but if you go watch my last room tour, you'll see that I still had a ton of stuff before the store opened. I would say now the majority of the stuff that I get comes from the store. But before then, it was all mostly from Goodwill and a lot of stuff from Craigslist deals and Facebook Marketplace deals. So that finishes up that, and now let's take a look at the closet. So the closet is the plush and kind of like board game closet. We can show the stuff on the wall here in this one shelf before we get in there, but I have like just a bunch of figures and toys and Pez and stuff like that. A few more things right there. And then up top, we have the SSX Tricky figures and Cell Damage figures, and then just a couple other things. And then this shelf here has my PS1 collection. So we're going to go over that real quick, and then we'll get into the closet. I'll do my best to get these. It's kind of like a weird angle here, but once again, you can pause, of course, if you need to. I have a decent PS1 collection, but same with this, I don't really focus on it. I just kind of, before opening the store, I was just keeping any game I didn't have as I got them. But now that the store is open, the only ones I'm really keeping are like the harder to find games that come in. And even then, I don't just keep every single one I need, because the store needs some good inventory, of course. So, you know, if somebody trades in a bundle of, 15 RPGs, I might keep 2 or 3 that I think are a little harder to find. But there's plenty of games that the store has already sold that I do not have in my collection. Getting down here. But I do have a lot of RPGs and stuff, which is good. Once I start focusing on PS1, it'll be nice to not have to go after some of these games that I already have. And it's maybe getting a little dark down here. I apologize, we're getting towards the bottom here. And the last shelf. I really like trying to get these big box collector's edition things. I've only got a couple, but I do think that they're really cool. And I have a bunch of long box PS1 games as well, but they are elsewhere, so we'll check out those in a bit. So, up here, I've got just a bunch of like random watches and stuff. A lot of old school like N64 plushes. There's like the Banjo-Kazooie ones. These keychain plushes are N64. They all have their tags. All of these N64 ones up here have their tags as well. And then there's just all sorts of random stuff. Like these two I got from the Nintendo store in New York. Just all sorts of random plushes. And then hanging here I have these 2 little bundles of different lanyards and stuff. These are all video game related. Some passes from PRGE. All sorts of stuff like that. And then a few other little random things. Pikachu costume. And then in the back down there is a bunch of like carrying cases and backpacks. There's some other plushes and hats and all sorts of stuff like that. There's some other random stuff in here, and then I have these 2 big stacks of board games, puzzles, all sorts of stuff like that. They're all like video game related for the most part. There's like a Ninja Turtles one that is not really video games, but still pretty cool. And then I have these 2 little shelves in here with more plushes, more puzzles and stuff. Just all sorts of random stuff in here. So that is what I call the plush closet. And then on the side here, I've got some other random stuff. And then we'll move on to the DS shelf. So up top, there's some figures, some more amiibo, and then all of these Bakugan games. And these come with a figure, which is in the little window there. And every single one of these has a different figure. I found these all at a Goodwill. They were $5 each, brand new, so I grabbed one of each figure. So, moving on to DS. Again, the ones with the bags are sealed. Try to avoid the glare if possible. DS is another system that I don't add games to the collection too often. Usually, it's just like sealed games that happen to come into the store or that I find at Goodwill. Even if someone trades in like a bunch of RPGs or something, I haven't really been keeping that many of them for the collection. So my DS collection isn't that great. I'm trying to not block the light, but it's behind me, so it's a little difficult. I do have a couple sealed ones that are pretty cool. We'll get to those in a second. Got some Japanese exclusives there. The Pokemon Conquest is sealed. I found that at like a a computer repair shop, which was really weird. The Pokemon, the second Soul Silver here is factory sealed. I got that from my friend Sam. He found that at Toys R Us way after it was out of print, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I don't really focus on DS like I do some of the other systems, so collection isn't massive. Alright, and then below that we have Master System. Don't have too many Master System games. If cool ones come into the store, I'll try to hold on to them every now and then, but it doesn't really happen. And then I have a small collection of TurboGrafx games. I also have Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, but that one's at the store. The Air Zonk is box only, but the Soldier Blade is complete, which is super awesome. Then I have the Switch games. Bunch of these. I'm loving the Switch, as is my girlfriend, Abby. And then we have some Xbox One games here. I don't really consider the Xbox One stuff part of the collection, but we do have it. And then these are the Switch big box games, or like special edition, collector's edition type stuff. A lot of NAS America ones. And then a couple big box Xbox One stuff. And then we have the 360 games along the bottom here, which once again, I don't really consider them to be part of the collection. They're just games that we happen to have. I'll collect for those systems eventually, but there's simply no room for them right now. So we're getting towards the end here, guys. We have this big wall right here. So we're going to start up here. There's a lot of really random stuff on this top shelf, so I'll just let you guys kind of look. You can pause. There's a lot of like small stuff, like hidden in between things sometimes. And there's some more things on the wall there. And then the next shelf. Now we get to the Intellivision games, which I almost considered getting rid of them. But then I thought, you know, eventually, one day, I'd probably want to collect them again, so I might as well keep them. Odyssey 2 stuff. Sega Pico games, which I think are very cool to collect. And then like some Switch accessories, and then a ton of Wii U accessories right here. Lots of the fight pads, and then just all sorts of stuff. Couple Pokemon keychains, bouncy ball, all the Pokemon Burger King golden cards, couple more Odyssey 2 games, some more bobbleheads and other random stuff, and then some more like Switch accessories, and some more World of Nintendo figures. And this thing has just all sorts of random stuff. There's like pre-ordered thing for Dissidia Final Fantasy, some Gameboy stickers. This is the thing that came with the 8-bit Xmas. There's some like Pokemon cards and like AR cards and stuff. And then have the Chrono Cross clock, the Breath of the Wild statue here, and then the Atari 2600 games, which were also part of what I considered getting rid of, but decided just to hold on to them. But if I do end up running out of room again, which, as you can see, I'm kind of at like max capacity here with a lot of stuff, the Atari games, the Intellivision games, the Odyssey games, those will be the first to get boxed up and put in the closet, but I don't think I'm going to get rid of them. So moving down, there's a few Atari 7800 games there, and then my PS1 Long Box Collection. So I've got some pretty cool ones in here. Some of the really cool ones have been traded into the store, which is super awesome. So there's those, and then 3DO. Don't have too many, but there they are. And then some Ultimate Codes for PS2, some big box stuff. There's a Versus Excite Bike marquee. A couple of these like candy things here with all sorts of random figures and stuff in them. Some Xbox stuff, this is apparently a prototype SP that I got from the Nintendo employee. Some sealed Tomb Raider trading card packs and Mega Man ones. And then just some other random stuff, Wii remotes, my Zelda Vans. And then on the bottom here, there's some random accessories and stuff on top. A couple like big box games. And then on the bottom are consoles. So we have 2 Switches. So this box is empty. I found that at the Goodwill outlet. Some of the boxes don't have the systems yet, but I will get them. These are all different Wii U bundles here. The Retron 5. Panasonic 3DO, the Xbox One box, couple Genesis, couple Xbox, including the clear green Halo one, and then the Sports Dreamcast and the white Dreamcast. And then moving over here to finish off, we have the Link to the Past 4 Swords standee. Very cool. Mega Yarn Yoshi. Some other stuff here. The SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy Diamond Dream Edition for Switch. A couple PlayStation accessories in the box. And then we have this last little shelf here with the Genesis 32X, Game Gear, N-Gage, and some other random stuff. So let's go through those. Genesis is another one that I don't really focus on, but if cool games come into the store, I'm definitely trying to hold on to them, because I think Genesis is pretty cool. It's, you know, it's the counterpart to Super Nintendo, basically, and I really enjoy collecting for Super Nintendo, so it'd be really awesome one day to have a complete Genesis and a complete Super Nintendo collection, along with all the other collections that hopefully by the time I have a complete Super Nintendo collection, I'd have some other complete collections as well. But I do have some harder to find ones, but nothing like crazy rare. I just have like some of the RPGs and stuff like that. And then just a lot of, you know, random filler that I've happened to come across. And then we have the 32X games, which I do kind of look for when I'm at conventions and stuff. The other two Game Gear games I have, the N-Gage, Atari Jaguar, Atari Lynx, and then a couple NES cleaning kits. So we'll do one little overview shot of everything, but that is pretty much the entire game room. Like I said, I have a lot more stuff that's not here, stuff that is at the store, or stuff that's in storage, honestly. I've got way more World of Nintendo figures and stuff like that that are boxed up in the closet. And I have the more signs, kiosks, pinball machines, arcade cabinets, all that kind of stuff. Just no room for them here in the game room. Eventually, we will move, of course, and hopefully get a bigger game room, and I'll be able to display more stuff properly, but for now, this is where the room is. So I hope that you guys found this video interesting, and I hope that you saw some stuff that you haven't seen before maybe, or something cool that you appreciate and like. So if you could do me a big favor, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in retro video game stuff. I do daily vlogs showing my life as an owner of a retro video game store. I show all the stuff that comes in. I talk about customer stories, if anything crazy happens, and just anything like that. I also do pickup videos once every month or so, showing all the new stuff I've added to my collection. And while you're down there, don't forget to smack the like button as well, and leave a comment down below. What do you think of the collection? Is there anything that you think I'm missing, or anything that I can improve upon, maybe display-wise? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.